Welcome back to Uruk, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and this is Dominions 5, Warriors of the Faith. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I have some bad news for you. You are not reading it wrong. It is early spring in the year 5 of the Ascension Wars. Ursula, in the past year or so, cast the spell Gift of Health in order to give the people of Uruk greater lifespans, freedom from affliction and pain, and a generally better life. However, there was a mistake. It was a huge ritual that required a lot of magical power, and it got a little out of hand. So unfortunately, all of the people of Uruk have forgotten the past couple years. So, in real terms, what happened was the past 5 episodes, I didn't record any audio. And that's really a bummer to me because I check my mic every single time before recording, and the mic was working fine. It's just somehow my recording software, Marillus Action, turned off the voice recording portion. So I had 5 episodes, and believe me, they were quite good. But there's no audio, no commentary. So I thought, okay, well, would the viewers like to watch 3 hours of gameplay with absolutely no commentary? Yeah, maybe not. But I decided to go ahead and just not do it. So here we are. We're in episode 22, which should technically, I guess, be episode 26. I will do my very best to sum up for you what was missed. First off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off all of the commanders that have been named in the past 5 episodes, because that'll take a far less time than trying to find all of them. So we have all caps 1, and of course that is in all caps. We have Margist, we have Kelset, we have Haas, we have Velaras, Cultist, Clulatha, we have Farseer, we have Drake, we have M.O. Evil, we have Duodecimus, Mateo Wolfsbane, Ragnar Lokisun, Les, Razuel, Dr. Quacksalver, which is, by the way, a name I remember from a long, long time ago, and Haas, too, that I mentioned earlier. Lighthawk, who is the alter ego, I guess you could say twin brother, of Ursula's chief advisor, Chris. We have Alfiriel. That's another name that I remember from years and years and years ago. Welcome to the team, Alfiriel. We have Selendis. We have Gore, like Al Gore, the vice president, or what you do when you have a horn and you attack somebody. Te Args, Krager, and a commander you will be getting to know very soon, Mr. Fap. Okay, but we are back in early spring of the year 5. So, we have found a lot of sites, by the way. Some of them cool, some of them not cool. In the past 5 episodes, hopefully at some point in the natural gameplay, you will see them. But right now, Farseer has found a copper idol. Phobos has found a crust of molten sulfur. Casual Dread, nothing. Fulgrim, nothing. Of course, that's because they're looking in Agartha, which, of course, as a capital, doesn't have any magical sites. I thought the game was smart enough to not have them do that. But I guess if it's the last possible province you can search, you go for it. Because they sometimes go for their own capital as well. Augury, nothing. Fangolwolf, Slaver, didn't find anything. We're gnome loring everywhere because we need earth gems like crazy, but we're not finding anything. Also, Drake and Lighthawk did Dark Knowledge and didn't find anything, not even in the swamps. That's pretty poor. Ursula and Yikali. Okay. So this is something that you missed in the past 5 episodes. After casting Gift of Health, Ursula has been flying around the world, casting Lion Sentinels in all of our fortresses. I think so far she's got 3 of them. They're in Uruk. They're in the coastal city whose name I forget to the east. They're in Jome. And she's heading now toward Agartha. Yikali has been following her and casting Tradewind, since except for Uruk, they're all coastal cities, except now Yikali is going to Strongdale because Agartha is not a coastal city. And he's casting Tradewind which again, what that does is it essentially trades air gems for money, as it increases the income of a coastal province for a certain number of turns based on how many gems you put into the spell. Alright, Duodecimus, Gnome Lore, found nothing. Captain Bill, Jay Leet, and Druce Gildas were all searching Winter Peaks, where they were, well, actually, Captain Bill's in Thodaz. He didn't find anything. Jay Leet and Druce were in Winter Peaks. Jay Leet did not find anything, but Druce found a glen of verdant greenery. Kim is with Captain Bill in Thodaz, but he also found nothing. But Romano the Hell King found 2 magic sites in the high ocean, the Enchanted Current and the Coral Garden. Why would Romano the Hell King be in the high ocean? Well, ladies and gentlemen, and I truly apologize for this, I wish I could show it to you, but we took the throne under the waves. It actually wasn't that hard. It was just guarded by regular troops, I think Atlanteans and Shamblers, if I recall correctly. It wasn't anything fancy. There were some Hydromancers, but they were badly scripted. They didn't cast water elementals or anything. It was a tense battle in the sense that the numbers were evenly matched. Had they cast water elementals or something of that nature, we probably would have lost. But instead, I'm not sure what they were doing. They were frozen hearting, maybe wave warriors. But regardless, we captured the throne, and we sent Mr. Fap, who is our bishop fish. Now, a bishop fish, for those of you who don't know, is a summonable underwater commander who has 3 holy. So essentially, an underwater commander, anyone with water magic can summon that can claim a throne or do a divine blessing. So Mr. Fap was able to do that. Or actually, I think Mr. Fap is doing that this turn. So the throne isn't ours yet. Okay, so Thodaz. Also, huge offensive from Yis against us. They just came out like crazy. They attacked us in like 5 provinces. They were able to win a string of victories, and we are now on our footing again, trying to push them back into the waves. So Thodaz is them attacking us. They are bringing a Morgan champion, perhaps? Yep. And a bunch of Knights of Yis. The Knights of Yis are not the same thing as the Morvac Knights. They're not bad, but they're not going to do the level of damage that we would expect from our friends, the Morvacs. They're definitely capable of taking out barbarians, but I don't think they're going to be able to take out all of our troops. Let's turn on team-colored squares. And yeah, the barbarians are going down, but that's what they're supposed to do. Good job, Captain Bill, firing Breath of the Dragon right into the backs of your own troops. And you're not even that far away. So you've got some terrible aim there, my friend. Alright, we took out the Knight of Yis, and it looks like... Oh, okay. Oh, here come our Mushushu chariots. They are going to have a lot of fun. The elementals are used to trampling people themselves. They're not used to being trampled. And here comes the Morgan captain. She is glamorous, which makes trampling her hard, although we just knocked off her glamour. But she's going to make it out, unfortunately. The Morgan champions are very fast. And if you're wondering, ladies and gentlemen, why I seem to know so much about Yis, that's a secret. You're going to find out about that pretty soon. Alright, Philotherus. We are trying to take land back from Yis that they have taken from us. I think this is their land. We're just trying to take it from them. Because once they declared war on us, we were just like, screw you guys then. We're going to go after you. And how? So in this case, we have Salamor, who is our NC in charge. Unfortunately, this force was kind of put together on the fly by the seat of my pants. And so Salamor, unfortunately, is not armored in any way. But that's okay. Liquid Body is armor in and of itself. We have Vagnard here, who is a Water Nin, so she's going to be Frozen Hearting. And then over here we have King Strategist. And I admit this is a tragic waste of gems, but again, I was just trying to figure something out on the fly with what limited resources I had. So I gave King Strategist the Moonvine Bracelet, which actually, it boosts your nature magic by 1 like the Thistle Mace, but it costs 20 gems, 15 nature and 5 astral. The reason why in some scenarios it is superior is because it's a miscellaneous item. So for example, you can give it to a commander who also wants to wield a weapon, because otherwise the Thistle Mace itself is in the weapon slot. But it's ridiculously expensive, and to give it to a completely unarmored Nin in a small army, where there could have been Morvox in this army, who knows, it was a real big risk on my part. But it gives her the ability to cast a spell called Word of Thorns, which, as you see, she doesn't have a bow, so that's what she's going to be doing. It also, as kind of a side effect, gives you 1 solitary Vine Man. Although that Vine Man is mindless, and so doesn't really do much but charge the front. And there's the Word of Thorns. It's essentially the Tangle spell, only you get a bunch of arrows at once. And that was pretty neat. There's another Word of Thorns. You can see it in the air. Let's see if it actually hits these guys. It's hit pretty good, because she cast Eagle Eye. And then we have Bobo Boson, by the way. I didn't mention him. He's lightning bolting everyone. In fact, looks like he got more kills than anyone, really. Maybe he'll get another one. Maybe he'll get the archer. Bobo? No, doesn't look like it. Alright, so we won. And I was correct. Bobo took out 4 of the enemy. Although, let's not discredit our Nin, who took out 2. And our soldiers managed to take out 1. Magic. Never underestimate it. Alright, Pythium is attacking us in the Ocean of Plenty. Sorry, just got a drink of water. So they're coming at us with a decent force. We got some nymphs, but only 2 of them. We got 2 flagellants, who are terrible troops in general. What makes them semi-decent is that they are blessed. So for example, and they're cheap. They're cheap as dirt. However, being holy, or being sacred, I should say, you are obviously limited on how many you can recruit due to your Dominion score. But they are dirt cheap, and with the right blessing, I guess they could be pretty awesome. Like if you give them a blessing that gives them some kind of natural protection, then maybe they'll be pretty good. I don't know, but look at this. Attack skill 2. Of course, that's because they're limp. Otherwise, they have a mighty attack skill of 3. They have good morale. I actually can't think of any reason why you'd want a flagellant. I'm trying. I'm racking my brain here, trying to give you guys some knowledge, but they're pretty terrible units. Nymphs are not, though, with their awe effect. They're pretty good. We did beat them, however. Alright, we were trying to take Whiteport back from them. Now, I made a big deal about this in the last episode that you are never going to be able to see, because Whiteport is a horrible province. There's something in it that almost immediately causes disease against anyone who enters it. So I was moving a bunch of troops through it to get to Gnome Peaks, which of course is our kind of frontline fortress against Tianqi in the west, and everyone was getting diseased, so I had to cure their diseases with mashmashus. So I decided to send a force to reclaim this, a very underwhelming force led by Jones Starborn, but I didn't lead Jones by himself. In order to reward him for risking his life to try to get a disease, I gave him the Wound Fend Amulet. Now, I don't know if this has any protection whatsoever against disease. It protects against physical and mental health, so you're supposed to not get afflictions. Now, disease causes afflictions. I'm not sure if disease itself is considered an affliction, but I figured anything I can do to help Jones. And I gave him a hat and a Scepter of Authority, even though he isn't needing it in this battle because, you know, he doesn't have troops to command. I just figured it was a nice thing to do for him risking himself the way he did. And he can also combust our enemies, which again sets them on fire, but doesn't necessarily kill them, unless they die of the fire. But luckily, Jones was successful in his battle, and now we just have to get him out of there before he gets a disease. Alright, Whiteport. Not only is there disease in Whiteport, but also incredible unrest and misfortune, and 2 of our units have been cursed. So Jones is there fighting curses and diseases. You gotta give the guy credit, you really do. Murius, misfortune plus 3, that's not great because we have a castle there. And again, that effect, you might think, oh, that's not a bad event, right? Misfortune plus 3, in a couple turns it'll go back to your normal domain. But what happens is when you get misfortune plus 3, you're that much more likely to get misfortune events, which could do a lot worse to you. So it's almost like a 1-2 punch you have to be careful about. Centania, same deal, unrest and misfortune. I'm not sure if our enemies are doing this to us, like if it's a global spell, like Baleful Star. I mean, it doesn't say a Baleful Star, it says an ill omen, but, so I don't know. We do have bad Dominion, so maybe that just is what it is. Pythium, oh, by the way, we are sieging the fort of Pythium. It's actually been breached for about 3 turns now, but we're not doing anything about it because their god is in there. And it's difficult to take down capitals with gods inside, even if you greatly overwhelm them. So we're trying to starve them out. We had marched across Pythium's lands. They weren't very strong, but they do have a couple fortresses left over outside of their capital, so they remain a threat, just not a huge one. Ivanmore has finally been breached. That, if you'll recall, is the Ysian citadel on the coast. Again, we're trying to push them back, and you'll see how much effort we're putting toward that in just a second. All right, well, here's our Pythium theater. As you can see here, Aga of Kish, Calrander, Corvus, and Berlandus are laying siege to it. This is not enough. I mean, we need about 5 or 6 more mages before I feel comfortable, so we're just kind of hanging out. Although the army itself is pretty decent. We do have 34 Ursuline Guard. We do have chariots. We do have Kusarikus. I mean, we have troops, but just not a ton. So they're just fighting all comers. We have marshlands with a castle and the Greater Wild with a castle and the Silver Wall. So Pythium does have 3 castles and a number of provinces. We did take Packwoods, but they took it back from us. But they're pretty much a spent force, in my opinion. Although, strangely enough, they are down here. They must be at peace with Vanarus, because otherwise they'd be getting crushed by them. Alright, so here in the High Ocean is Mr. Fap, the Bishop Fish, and he is claiming the throne in the name of Ursula. Just so you know what throne this is the throne of Gaia, which is excellent for us because it gives us growth plus 2. Bear in mind that we started, I believe, with growth plus 1. I want to say growth plus 1. No, we had growth plus 2 to begin with. So that's, okay, that's not going to help us as much. Actually, no. We only had growth plus 1, but then the throne of Spring gave us growth plus 1, so we had growth plus 2, and now we're getting another growth plus 2. I don't think you can go beyond 3. So it's not like I think getting growth 4 is actually going to help us any more than getting growth 3. But what growth does is it inspires people to, you know, do what they need to do. And babies are born, and those babies get taxed, and you make more money. So growth is fantastic in that respect. And we have it now. We're very growthy, which is very Ursuline. So that's why I made getting this throne a priority once I found out what it was. We pretty much own this entire lake except for Velvet Ocean, and I'm not yet ready to initiate hostilities with Vanarus, and they had a bunch of troops here, and they are now gone. So my guess is they are not ready to open up hostilities with us either. We also have a Coral Garden, an Enchanted Current, which increases magic as well, and the Crust of Molten Sulfur. So we are building a castle here too. Margist is doing it. It'll draw from Lake Vastness, but obviously this is the place you want the castle, where the throne is, and we're going to build a temple and hopefully spread our dominion out here where it's weak. So these little pentagrams are where we've cast Lion Sentinels, as you can see here. Lion Sentinels. Enchantment increases the order scale plus 1, which also gives us even more money and also more recruitment points and less chance of events, good or bad. But since we have a Misfortune Dominion, that's a good thing. We don't want many events. And Tradewind, since it's coastal, though we do not have Tradewind in Uruk because it isn't. Then Jome has Tradewind and Lion Sentinels as well. There's Yikali and Ursula. Ursula's moving to Agartha, and Yikali's moving to Strongdale. Strongdale has the library, which gives us sages, and the Citadel of the Lore Masters, which also gives us sages and lore masters. I'm out of money, though, so I'm recruiting a sage, although I would love to have a lore master. So here's our huge kind of force that's supposed to be stopping Yis. They were coming hard here, so we've got Ivanmore here, we've got Gillian, Tyrellian, Lord Death, Kiero, Gilgamesh, Illa, Marquis de Sade, Versal, and Rooney. They are storming the castle. There's nothing there. There's ogres, heavy cav, and some Kurno druids. I have our Ursuline Guard standing in the gateway. We should be fine. We're moving Dwarf Comic out, finally, because there's no lab in Kuhir, so I can't give him any items or anything, but I am moving Grothmog, Unaptishtim, Lynch, Dr. Quacksalver, Barley, Von Anablicus, and Haas down to Kuhir to kind of manage this place too. It sucks that I'm having to tie up so many resources guarding against Yis, but unfortunately they're incredibly good raiders. Their Morvok Knights are actually stronger on land than they are under the sea because they have the Fire Breath and the Hoof Attack, which they don't have under the sea. So a couple of those can take pretty much any province regardless of how much province defense I put in it. So in order to defend this area, I'm going to need to have multiple armies, primarily because of this river here. Because I was thinking, oh, I can just keep an army in Ivanmore, and they can just move out whenever Yis attacks. But if they attack Thodaz, most times we won't be able to cross this river. We can right now, because I guess their dominion is cold. It has to be, right? Because ours isn't. And it's spring. Well, I guess early spring could still have a little bit of coldness. But this isn't going to be crossable all the time. I am, however, moving back Smithmasters, Arctic Green, Steiger, White Druid, Jayleet, and Druce Gildus. They're going to assist in the battle against Pythium. They're going to clean up the provinces that are left behind, while this army here is sitting on Pythium itself. And eventually I want to send more people up there as well. I think I have a force about ready to go out. We just can't cross the river. That's Utnapishtim II. And Kiku. No, I'm sorry. Camillionus has been so good for us for the longest time forging items that I figured it was time to give him some action. So I gave his hammer over to Kiku, and Camillionus is now going to be our protection shaman for this army with Unaptishtim. We don't yet have a NC, or N2, I'm sorry, who we are recruiting and will be available next turn. We have a ton of troops here. We're not bringing them all. So I've instituted kind of a rule where we're going to bring 30 Ursuline Guard with each army only. We're not going to overstuff Ursuline Guard because they're so rare. I want to spread them out because they're very useful. And I think 30 is a pretty good critical mass of them. They're backed up by 30 of our swordsmen, just because we have tons of them here. We're not recruiting anything else but them. And then they're backed up again by the Iron Warriors. I like to have the Iron Warriors on the flank, but obviously our guys can only lead 3 groups. And so I had to make a choice, right? I couldn't have them on just one flank, so I put them in the middle. But what I'm doing for flanking is I have Camillionus with our Vine Ogres, because he has relatively high, I should say, magical leadership of 20. That kind of sucks, though. Like, these guys are much better for leading the Vine Ogres, because they can have up to 65. Well, I think 55, I guess, out of the... No, I don't know what makes these two different. They both have 1 square of experience. Oh, I guess he has the... So the more magic you have, the more magic leadership you have. So he has the extra 2 magic paths. So that's why he has 65. But again, these guys suck at that. They only have 15. So 15 of the ogres, I guess they're decent for a flank. But again, and it makes more sense to give them to Camillionus, because Camillionus is terrible at leadership. But that doesn't matter to a Vine Ogre, because they have 50 morale. So the -2 doesn't hurt them at all. And then once we finally get our NC, then I might give her some of the Hammermen. I'm not really going to bring archers. I'm tired of them. One thing you could try in your own campaigns is, well, I have plenty of illusionists, but obviously you're going to have to wait to get Oogaloo. But you can give them a gem, and there's a spell that allows every archer on the battlefield to have better aim, better precision. That might make the archers of Uruk useful. But for right now, I just don't feel like they're really doing what I need them to do. Okay, so Sirmiak is where we're going to assault Yis from. So my plan as of right now, and it's going to take a few turns to get it set up, but I want to have a pretty substantial army of nymphs and enkidu with water breathing, and we're going to hit where they're weak, like Sea Stag. As soon as we're there, we're going to immediately bump up the province defense as high as we can get it, and we are going to build a lab. At that point, we're going to teleport in Phobos with whatever monstrosities he can get, which is probably everybody here. So we're talking all of these nymphs and Kalulus, and of course our asp turtles. They're all going to teleport into the lab. That way we can avoid, because they're amphibious only, or underwater, aquatic only. They can't walk on land. So the only way to get them from one lake to another is through teleportation, which luckily we can do, but we need a lab for the gateway spell. And then once that happens, then we'll just move against them as best we can. So my hope is that they do not build a fort down here in Sea Stag, and my secondary hope is that they continue to assault us up here to divert their forces from the south. Here's Whiteport, the disease-causing horrific province, and Jones is getting out of there as fast as he can. Nome Peaks finally is under our dominion, but obviously I've had to put on hold my plans to attack Tianchi because of Yis's aggression. Sinextro remains under our control. I think you missed a pretty good battle there too. We had a bunch of essentially mages defending Sinextro by themselves because we didn't have troops, and Yis beat the province defense and besieged the city with quite a large force, but we were able to fight them off. Now we have Urzababa and Draca here. Vexini is our shaman who does all the protection, and now we're toying with the idea of taking out Peace Haven. ironically named, I should say. But we're thinking of taking it out because our priests are pretty good. Our commanders are too holy. And I was going to bring our Erishtingers. We don't... What's funny is we don't have any of our... Well, we have just in case. So just in case is our N2 here, who can do some damage to them as well. Plus, our people like Just in Case. Well, actually, Just in Case is a great example on fighting undead, because Justin has so many options. Obviously, you could use the priest magic to weigh down the undead, the banishment. But with 2 water, there's also a water spell that kills undead, called Cleansing Water, I want to say. And then with 2 astral, there's also astral spells that take out undead, called like Starfires. So Justin has a ton of options. I was actually, in one of the episodes, I was debating which spell is actually best for the purpose of taking out undead, like which does more damage over a wider area. And I think I ended up with the astral spell was the best for this case. The worst, strangely enough, was the priest spell, the banishment. So, but okay, we're already at 26 minutes. So we are going to end the turn. What's essentially happening here is we're claiming the throne. We are storming Ivanmore. And that's really about it in terms of what we should be seeing as far as offense on our end. We're probably going to see a couple more raids. Maybe Thodaz with all these Ysians. This was a mistake. We weren't really supposed to cast Augury at Norville. But luckily we have Agartha now, so we have the Halls of the Oracles. So, well, he's not this turn, but Mago, if he so chooses, can scry a province, because he is an Earth Mage. None of the rest can. We have too many people here. We need more troops. We have way too many commanders. We need just more line troops. And we have plenty of income, so I'm just trying to make it happen. I really want to start ramping up Vine Ogre production, but our nature gems aren't fantastic. And Blue Golem is really good at it. And Matthew here is not as good, even with the helmet that lets you get one. He only gets 1 more. So I think he gets 3 instead of 2, whereas Blue Golem I think gets 5, I want to say. So if we can get another Ivy King, we could probably get... Yeah, he gets 3 plus 2, or 5. We could probably start ramping up the Vine Ogres. But how much... I forgot how much Ivy Kings cost. I think it's enchantment. No, that's Tree Lords, who are also pretty awesome, but they cost 35 nature gems. I could have sworn it was, but I guess it's Conjuration, like most summoning spells. Yeah, no, that's the Vine Ogre, though. That's what I don't want, is the... Ivy King, there we go. So 30 nature gems. I guess we could get another one of those. I don't think anybody could actually cast it. Yeah, the highest nature we have here without Ursula is 3. We could, of course, fix that. We can give Blue Golem a Thistle Mace, and he'd be ready to go. Or Matthew, for that matter. But we do want to ramp it up. Oh yeah, we somehow managed to get 2 things of Black Steel Plate, which I'm not going to use because they wear down your guys. We also have the bow that when you kill people with it, it turns them into soulless. I just haven't been doing a very good job of assigning items. I'll do that between episodes. But let's end the turn. We're running out of time. Alright. Well, hopefully we shall storm this castle, and we shall own the land and push Ys back into their lake. Let's see. Mr. Fap, the Bishop Fish, has claimed the throne of Gaia in the name of Ursula. Bango Wolf found nothing. Phobos, nothing. Damn, and he's casting Tiamat, which gives you any sight of elemental power. Casual Dread, nothing. I can only imagine, since I always play with high-level magic sites, like I always bump up my magic site percentage, I can only imagine like playing a late-era game where the magic site percentage is 40. It must suck. Like, you must never find anything. Anyway, Voice of Apsu, nothing. Auspex, nothing. Gnome Lore, nothing. Dark Knowledge. Oh, we did find a Labyrinth of Skulls. Hooray. No lore, nothing. That's what we really need. Alright, Pythium has a new prophet. I think we killed the other one. So this is Mott the Harbinger. Now that's bad, because Harbingers are angels, and they are tough customers. They're also summoned, not recruited, so that she could freely summon all kinds of them while we're putting this castle under siege. That'll be interesting to see if they sally forth against us. Alright. Already checked this. Yeah, Labyrinth of Skulls. Valencia found nothing. Thodaz, they're attacking us again. They just love Thodaz. This time they're attacking with some sea trolls. Another, well, I guess it might be the same champion, but some more Ysian knights. But once again, I believe this is not going to go well for them. I like how the barbarians are taking the casualties against the knights, though. That's really nice. Alright, maybe Captain Bill should stop casting Breath of the Dragon. He's obviously not very good at it. We did take out the champion this time. We lost 4 barbarians, but we didn't lose any of our actual troops that we care about, so, haha. We get to see some Vanarus. They're attacking Independence in Dunvale. And they're probably going to lose. Dunvale has a ton of heavy cavalry, and all they're bringing is their Chud Herdmen. Now, Chuds are basic. They're a little bit better than human beings. They have a lot more hit points. And they're Berserk and Ambidextrous. So they eschew the protection that a shield provides, but also have a really cool double attack. They're not bad, actually. And then here's I guess a human version. So this is a human Berserker who, like the Chuds, has 2 weapons, a broadsword and an axe. But he is unfortunately not a Chud. He's more of a Chud fanboy, I guess you'd say. Followed up by some just regular human Huskarls. They're being led by Ivanko, the Vanarusian sage. Got some death and air. He could lightning bolt, I guess. And he's got some undead buddies hanging out with him as well. I think the heavy cav is just going to tear them a new one. Well, air elementals. That might turn the tide. But not. Are they going to get the sage? Yes, they are. So much for the Chuds. Alright, Ivan Moore. Ah, really? Okay. So they're attacking us with a huge army before we storm the castle. So that's not good, of course, because our Ursuline Guard are intended to go through the gates. Right now they're incredibly vulnerable. Luckily the knights are kind of avoiding them. We just cast Mass Protection. Good job, Lord Death. I'm trying to remember if my Blessing has some kind of magical weapons, and it does not. So, yeah. They aren't going to do incredibly great against these Shade Beasts, who are ethereal. They'll do substantially better against the Marrows. So yeah, we're trying to get through the Shade Beasts. Our Air Mages are doing the heavy lifting against them. I was like, I'm not liking how our Shaman is unprotected, but this is Illa. I'm having a lot of trouble with Illa, because I want Illa to be a thug. I want her desperately to be a thug, but unfortunately, I just get her fatigue up so high. It takes her forever. It takes her forever to get ready to fight, that the battle's already over by the time she gets into it. But I'm spelling her up with regeneration. She has fear because of her battle bellow. I'm casting Temper Flesh, I think, which protects her from all sorts of attacks. And I have to give her some form of reinvigoration. The Amulet of Resilience. And she must get her protection from one of her spells. I think I'm also having her cast Iron Skin, to be perfectly honest with you, on top of the Bark Skin she gets from Strength of Gaia. Because Bark Skin's kind of not that great. Alright. Our flankers are probably not going to be able to take out fully armed Ysian cavalry. These aren't even cavalry, these are the commanders. So I'm not expecting great things here. But they're Berserk, so who knows? Arrows raining down. These Knight Commanders are not terrible. Well, now they're going. Okay. We've broken the front line. There's still a few various beasts and elementals and long dead. It's actually really smart of the... Oh, is Illa fighting? Where's Illa? There she is. I was like, hopefully not dead. There's Illa. Illa's fatigue, however, is now down to 9. So actually, her reinvigoration did a pretty good job. She is getting into the battle. Hopefully she'll be able to do something. There she goes. Yeah, I gotta figure out a way to reduce the amount of time Illa takes spelling up. I've already given her far too many items, and you really should give a shaman. Like, it's pure roleplay. If you're watching this at home to try to learn how to play Dominions, you definitely don't want to give a shaman all of these items. This is like something like 50 gems worth of items. That's not appropriate. You should save your gems for more efficient uses, but I want Illa to... With her Battle Bellow, I want her to put that into practice. So, it'd be nice to let her fight the Morvok, but our bugs are in the way. Well, we did win the battle. We killed pretty much everything, 126, including 2 Knight Commanders of Wise, one of the 2 Morgan champions. Everyone else. We only lost 4 of our Ursuline Guard, again, because they were set to the front, which normally they would not have been. Although, look at this, our Illusionists, 11 kills, not bad. Our 2 Shamans took out 1. I sincerely hope Illa managed to kill 1. Our Nins took out 1 between them. And our Entu. These aren't the best Nins, I guess. Damn. Alright, Fortress of Ivanmore. This is the same group. Once again, they're tired. They just had to fight a huge battle against Yissian elite troops. But, oh, Jiminy Christmas. I'm so used to fighting Agartha and their boulders that don't go very far that I left my mages here. And now I'm seeing arrows fly past them and I'm getting really nervous. Stay alive, guys. Oh, shit. Looked like one just got hit. Heavy Cav running right past our Ursuline Guard, and they're not going far. Alright, is Breath the Dragon going to actually work this time? Not really. So now I'm thinking again, because our archers, or sorry, these archers here on the walls were not listed in the report of who's in the province. So maybe the archers are generated by the castle itself. Here comes Illa. I don't think we've lost anyone. This isn't the best fight for Illa because it's going to take her forever to get through the doorway. We just have one dude, a Kurnu Druid. Druids are alright. What they allow Yiss to do is get off into crystal magic because they have astral and earth. So they can start forging the communion type stuff. So it depends on the kind of map you play. If you play a map that's mostly land and you're playing Yiss, then these guys are going to be a huge component of your armies. However, if you're, say, playing a game with Yiss and it's mostly water, and I couldn't imagine who would do that, then you won't be seeing much of them. And nothing like some good friendly fire to end the battle. He's holding his own. Yeah. So if you need any more proof why I got rid of our archers, this is it. Alright, but we got him. Nice. Alright, so what happened here? We did lose 1 soldier, but that is it. Okay. Alright, their archers must have been really bad at their jobs. Our illusionists took out 4. Our Nins took out 3. Silbermark. People are starting to worship false pretenders. Well, screw you guys. Dominion -2. Ursula needs to show up and teach them a thing or two. Copper Canyons, we got some air gems. The Throne of Gaia is spreading its influence, awakening forces slumbering under rock and root. Worldwide growth +1. I guess this also means that provinces can be attacked by, like, tree lords and stuff. That's no good. Alright. Alright. So let's take a look. So we're still relatively... I say relatively safe here. Thodaz is fine. Ivanmore belongs to us now. Let's beef up the province defense there. And Illa. I wish it would tell me how many kills you have. That would be so nice, but I don't think it does. I think it remembers it per battle, but I don't think it remembers it, like, over time. Nope, never mind. It does. 5. So Illa has actually managed to kill 5 people in melee. Go figure. We didn't witness any of it, but I guess it happened. So that's good. She's getting in. So let's see what she's doing, though. So we've got her doing personal regeneration. So we're not... Oh, that's right. We're not doing Strength of Gaia. Here's why. Strength of Gaia is a great spell to do a lot in a little bit of time. It gives you regeneration. It gives you 1 extra, I want to say, nature. And it gives you bark skin. And I think increased strength as well. Okay? Which are all good things. But I just felt like I didn't need the bark skin. And with Lord Death in the army, he's casting mass protection anyway. So everyone's getting bark skin, including Illa. But I wanted her to be a better defense than that. So she's personally regenerating herself, then iron skin. And then she's tempering her flesh, which again makes her almost impervious to most physical attacks. She's waiting 2 turns just to get her fatigue down, and then she's attacking. I suppose I can get rid of the iron skin and just live off the bark skin from the mass protection. Although then there's that one time where Lord Death decides he'd rather cast Wooden Warriors instead, and Illa runs into battle naked with 50 gems worth of items. So that's not entirely what I want. So for right now, I guess we're going to stick with this. But yeah, Shaman Thugs, not a great idea, folks. Maybe if you have like 5 of them and you don't care if they live or die. But I do care. Oh my god. Alright, we have 260 Yisians. And almost all of them, with the exception of the 2 huge asp turtles, thank goodness, can attack us on land. One thing I'm not seeing, though, Morvok Knights. Oh, never mind. They're glamorous, so I wouldn't see them anyway, even if they existed. There could be thousands of them in there, and I wouldn't know. But that's okay, because we have all these guys here at Kuhir, and I think they could take whatever. This is Grothmog, Unaptishtim, Lynch, Dr. Quacksalver, Barley, and Haas. This is actually an interesting army, because we have a Mashmashu with it. I don't know if this happened in the past 5 episodes or before, if you're aware that this is happening. But he's got a ton... Barley's got a ton of cool stuff. We have a bunch of Griffins. We have a bunch of Vine Ogres, plus a Lumber Construct. So this is how Vine Ogres are supposed to be used. So maybe I could just start summoning a ton of these guys, the Sleepers, because they have a ridiculously high magical leadership of 80, which we're not even getting close to here. They also have undead leadership, if that becomes an issue, and a ridiculously high leadership of regular people as well. Plus they have 4 separate groups they can have, plus a 5th of their bodyguards, whereas our NCs only get 3. So Sleepers are actually pretty amazing. So Barley, and he also has the helmet, and he combusts our enemies. So, but yeah, so we have plus 5 morale on the Vine Ogres, which is stupid, because they already have 50 morale, but whatever. The reason I'm doing this is because, of course, he can lead them, which very few people can, but also because he can set them in a line formation. Because right now, all of my national commanders who can lead Vine Ogres in mass, so the Mashmashus and the Entus, they don't have the ability to set them in line formation. And the guys that do have the ability to set in line formation cannot lead large numbers of magical troops. So, Barley is our solution, although maybe in the future Apkalus might be our solution, although they're pretty expensive, Apkalus. We have some spearmen. Well, let's send them right to the front. Yeah, this army, if they attack this army, they're going to get what's coming to them. This army will absolutely rape them. Actually, I take that back. I don't like using that word. If they attack here, Captain Bill and Kim are going to have a bit tougher of a time. Why does Captain Bill have an ice sword? Why, Captain Bill? He must have picked it up somewhere in a battle. I don't want you to have that. What's a Rune of Air? Boosts air ritual range by 2 provinces, so very similar to the highest peak. We're probably not going to take advantage of it here. Winter Peak, I don't know if I mentioned this in any of the episodes that you have seen, but it has a Sorceress recruitment. Now, Sorceress are like our Illusionists, except they're better. They have 2 air, but also 2 astral, and also a 20% chance of another air, astral, water, or death. So not a great chance, like you have a 20% chance of getting any of them, and a 25% chance of getting the specific one you want, but you could theoretically bust out a Sorceress with 3 astral or 3 air. 3 air would be more useful to us, but rare enough that we're not going to bank on it. And, yeah, so we're running out of time. We're almost at 45 minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Marcus Aurelius. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. I'd also like to apologize that the last 5 episodes were missed. I hope that you will forgive me, but at least it does allow us to move the plot along a bit more quickly. So go out there, do something great. Have a good one.